evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you to the 2013 Winter Band Concert. I'm really, really thankful that you guys all decided to join us. Does this sound weird? Does this sound strange? Okay. Thanks. I don't need, does it sound? Okay. Well, like I said, I'm glad that you guys decided to come out and join us for your Thursday evening. One more day until they are all yours for 2 weeks. That was Deck the Hall, obviously our jazz band. I like to just go ahead and get things started. Our next piece is going to feature a couple of different students noted in your program. So we are going to move on with In a Mellow Tone. For the first time since I've been here, and probably prior to that, the jazz band actually gets to go on tour tomorrow. So if you have a son or daughter in jazz band, hopefully you've heard about this. I have all the permission slips except one. We are going on tour to the 2 elementary schools, 2 of the 3. Unfortunately, with the third, just some scheduling didn't work out. They've got some parties during the day, and so we couldn't get the schedule to quite work. But I think they're really excited. I'm really excited, and I'm certain that the kids at the elementary schools are excited because we kind of are tag teaming with the chamber orchestra and the show choir to perform at these elementaries. And the chamber ensemble has done this for years, and Mrs. Praniv has assured me that the elementary students and even the teachers really, really look forward to having the high school kids come out. So we're going to be able to take part in that tomorrow. We're all looking forward to it. Our final song for our set tonight is going to be It's the Holiday Season. So again, here's our jazz band. Thank you very much. Please be patient with us. There's going to be 2 points in the evening where we're going to have to do a quick set change. This is one of those points. We've worked really hard to try to make it as quick and painless as possible. So hang in with us, and we will be back with you momentarily with the symphonic band.
they're laughing because they asked if I had a speech prepared, and I said, I'll wing it. So I'm winging it. The first piece was Creekwood Overture. The piece we had pulled kind of as just a sight reading exercise and ended up kind of sticking with us. We really enjoyed it and found it to be on the contest list for later on this year. So we figured we'd kind of work on it a little now, put it away, and then we'll pull it back out around contest time. So it'll be kind of a fun piece to take to contest. The next piece will slow it down. It's more of an emotional piece if you read your program notes. It is based on Gustav Holst's hymn In the Bleak Midwinter, and it's arranged by Robert W. Smith for band. If you want to kind of know the little bit behind the piece, I recommend reading the program notes, otherwise we'll be here forever, and Mr. Fry will make fun of me again for talking forever. So I'm just going to leave the program notes up to you. Thank you. like that piece because it challenged all the students in a different way. Whether it be technical with the woodwinds, the fingers, some higher range things with the brass, a lot of solo features, group solo features within the piece, and it kind of made it a tough piece to put together because of that. If you talk to any of the trumpet players, they rest for 40 measures and then have to come in like they have been playing for the last 10. So it's kind of a fun piece to play, and it challenged them in that way. The last piece, Celtic Ritual, is a personal favorite of mine. Sometimes we pick music for the educational purpose, which this has, but sometimes I like to do a piece of music that I just enjoy doing and like to share with the students as well. They looked at me like I was crazy when I first handed this to them, and I think they've come to enjoy it. At least they play it like they enjoy it, so I hope they do. I enjoy Celtic Ritual. We will have another quick scene change, and then the wind ensemble will be on. Thank you.
So like Mr. Allen mentioned after their first piece, our first piece, Emperata Overture, is the piece that I selected off of the required list for contest this year. For those of you that are new to us and new to the idea of contest, Ohio Music Education Association hosts adjudicated events across the state in the spring, early spring. This year, ours is March 14th and or 15th. We don't know until about a week or two before at most. But they send out a list of pieces that you can choose from based on the class of difficulty that you are going to contest in. So that was the tune that I selected off of the required list. So again, we will perform that when you come back to us in March. The next piece, Cajun folk songs, there are two movements. So there will be the first movement is very slow, very melodic. The second movement is much faster. And if you read your program notes for Cajun folk songs, it's very, very interesting. Frank DeKelly took a lot of time to research the history of Cajun folk songs and the history of that in Louisiana. So he tried to portray two different folk songs, one in each movement. So we'll have a brief pause in between each movement, and we'll continue on. This piece, much like the first, is a classic in band rep. So I wanted to make sure that the kids are getting experience with those classic tunes. So, JJ, are you tuned? JJ? Good? Okay. Let's try to make sure that they're ready to go. So here are the two movements of Cajun folk songs. Before we get to the last song, I've realized two things in my absent-minded illness state. The first thing, I worked all week to try to make sure that the program was correct. After I made 200 copies tonight, I realized it's not. So the Board of Education members are listed incorrectly in your program, and I sincerely apologize about that. It should read Mrs. Cassandra Jones, President, Mrs. Lisa Marco, Vice President, and board members Mr. William Kent, Mrs. Stephanie Ryan, and Mrs. Alfredo Wynn. So I do sincerely apologize. I've been battling the crud that has been going around to every household, I'm sure. The other thing is, I spoke to both Neil Bloomberg and Dave Fry before the concert and said, yeah, come up and talk. I've got a spot for you right in between symphonic band and wind ensemble. And then I got so wrapped up in everything that we just started. And that was not to purposely put them aside. So at this time, I really want to introduce Mr. Neil Bloomberg to come up and speak to you. He has been working really, really diligently. He worked very hard to put together our uniform campaign, and so that's what he's going to come up and speak to you about now.
Good evening, everybody. You guys sound fantastic. Jazz band, symphonic band, you sounded fantastic. Proud to be a parent of one of the musicians. Students, can you hear me on the stage? Excellent. I'm here this evening on behalf of the band boosters to talk about our uniform campaign for marching band. So I'm going to be speaking to the students as well as the parents regarding this. We kicked off a campaign a couple of months ago. We have already received a couple of $1,000s from the band boosters, the Board of Education. We are working on some corporate sponsorship and community sponsorship, and there's also a student component of this, and we have already spoken with the students, but what I want to do is I want to talk to the parents. This is not about you doing their fundraising, but I would like you to understand what we're trying to do and to provide some encouragement and potentially some financial support to it. We are looking to raise $15,000 from the students, which is part of an $80,000 total campaign in order for us to be able to get the uniforms for this coming fall. We're not only talking to the high school students, but we've also spoken to the 7th and 8th graders. So we're looking at about 257 students to be able to come up with this $15,000. I have to be honest with you, we are in a little bit of jeopardy of not being able to get the uniforms in time for this coming fall. A decision's gonna have to be made sometime in February to move ahead and order those uniforms. But in order for us to be able to commit to the full purchase of the uniforms, we need to secure the $15,000 commitment from the students, because not only did the boosters come through, the district come through, and community sponsors are coming through, but there is also an expectation from all those funders that the students will do their part. Each student was asked to only come up with $100 towards this $15,000 goal. And in return for that, we've got a whole bunch of prizes that are available for the students, and we even have a new incentive that is only going to be available to the students that are currently in band. And that is, if they raise their $100 goal, they'll be able to dedicate one of the uniforms, and inside each uniform there will be a little embroidered tag that will say this uniform was dedicated by the student's name and their year. And these uniforms we're going to be using for probably 15 years. So this is a legacy that this group of students are going to be able to leave to their district. So to the parents, please encourage your student to do what they can to achieve their $100 goal. Students, the holidays are upon us. Ask your family members, your friends, your parents, yourself to give you a couple of dollars towards this commitment. We've sent stuff home. If you need more information, let Mrs. Flint know and we'll get it to you. Parents, if you have any questions, you can contact Mrs. Flint, you can contact the band booster president, David Fry, or you can get a hold of me, and we'll be more than happy to share any information with you. So with that, thank you very much. A happy and a healthy to everybody, and back to you, Mrs. Flint. And for those of you that bought a 50-50, here we go.
Okay, thank you everyone for participating. We raised a grand total of $268, so that means the winner is going to get $134. If I did the math right. Correct me, students. Okay. You got Mrs. Flynn?
No, I don't want that responsibility.
She needs to grow. It's a pink ticket.
1516.
161, 516. And you have to be present to win. Pink ticket 161516. We have a winner. Oh, also, what Neil was saying was that, hold on a second. There you go. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you. One of the other things that Neil was talking about was we have fundraising going on right now. We have a lot of great ideas. We've gotten a ton of ideas. What we don't have are worker bees. We need help. We need people that are willing to contact businesses to ask for donations, ask for advertising. We talked about selling advertising at the during next year's band season. We don't have anybody that can go out and contact these people because right now we have about a handful of people that are actively working on this. We need more people. So could you please contact David Fry or Neil Bloomberg or Ann Brzee, actually, because she's doing a lot of fundraising too. And let's get some workers out there and help us raise this money, because right now our corporate sponsors are at zero right now. Okay?
Thank you, Mrs. Fry. It took my first 4 years of being in the district and doing concerts here for my mom, and probably not all 4 years. She probably said something to me every year, and I just, for my mom to say, your winter concerts are not very wintry. And I said, gee, thanks, Mom. And my high school, I told this last year, my high school had a tradition that every year one of the bands performed Sleigh Ride, and that was my mom's favorite song, and we did it every year in high school because it was my band director's wife's favorite. So long story short, we played the song last year. The kids really, really enjoyed it, and I said, you know what the heck, I'll pass it out again. I passed it out, and they were really excited to do it again. So we kept it, and we programmed it, and they have prepared Sleigh Ride for you again. Thank you all very, very much for coming out to listen this evening. We hope you enjoyed it. And not to be anticlimactic, but all band students, symphonic band, wind ensemble, all band students are to help clear the stage before you leave. Parents, keep an eye on your students and make sure that they come up onto the stage and help out before you take them off. Have a great break and a wonderful new year, and I'll see you at our next event.